Welcome back to our conversation about economy and the markets with Peter Cohan, Associate Professor of Management Practice at Babson College. And Peter, I want to talk about a pretty big local industrial policy story, if you will, in a second. But I got to ask you, I've been watching along with, I know many of our viewers, with my jaw on the floor, the unfolding story of the FTX cryptocurrency exchange and its founder, Sam Bankman-Fried,
yes,
who, and I don't want to be the kind of person who judges someone just on appearances, but adding appearances to the FTX story here, Sam Bankman-Fried is someone I would not hire to walk my dog.
Okay.
How is it that a little cretin like this bamboozled billions of dollars out of people?
Well, I've never met him. I was very concerned when I realized that his parents were both law professors at Stanford Law School, and that the CEO of, I guess, FTX is the daughter of two MIT professors. So I was thinking to myself, boy, if I was a professor and my child did that, I would be feeling very badly. I'd probably be feeling badly if I was doing any kind of job, but
yeah,
you know, that just kind of made me feeling bad. So I don't really understand why he was able to get so much support from people, but clearly he has the magical powers that a small number of people in our society have to kind of make people suspend their critical thinking and just do what they want.
Well, it's a black eye on the whole crypto industry. Fairly so. A lot of people have looked at that whole thing as a scam.
Yeah, I tend to sort of lean more towards the whole thing being a scam.
Yeah.
I mean, I started writing about this about a decade ago, and that was the time when there was a hack on a crypto exchange in Japan called Mt. Gox, and people were just stealing all this cryptocurrency. But the interesting thing about it was that after that happened, it was trading for maybe 5 cents per Bitcoin. And so, you know, part of me was thinking maybe I should just buy like $1,000 worth of it because it was so inexpensive back then. And I just said, this is such a scam, I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah. Well, I will say, in the interest of fairness here, that a friend of mine told me he bought a Bitcoin for $500 a few years ago, sold it a few years later for several thousand, and bought a new trumpet with it.
Okay.
So there's a happy ending.
There's something
right
there, yeah. I mean, it's like you buy lottery tickets, so some people do anyway.
Well, an unhappier story is the story of GE in Boston.
Yes.
Came in back in 2015 with big fanfare. Governor Baker, then Mayor Walsh, high-fiving each other. We got the corporate headquarters to move here. Now they've announced they'll be moving out of the Fort Point complex next year into smaller offices. To GE's credit, they're making good on millions of dollars of commitments they made to local nonprofits, but the whole thing's kind of a debacle. What went wrong, and what's the moral of the story, really, is what I'm getting at.
Well, what went wrong was the selection of Jeff Immelt as the successor to Jack Welch, which happened, you know, back in 2001, he became CEO, and he destroyed 66% of the stock market value of General Electric. So towards the end of his career, he decided that GE was going to become the digital company, and what better place to locate the digital company than in Boston, where you could tap into all this high-tech talent.
Oh, boy.
And, you know, he was just not a good fit for that job, and I wrote a book about the person who they should have selected, which is Jim McNerney, who ended up running 3M and Boeing as well. Was much better CEO, but for some reason Jack Welch didn't pick McNerney. In any case, this was sort of the real reason why the whole thing went down. I mean, it was considered one of the most successful companies out there, but I will say it was an outmoded idea. It was the idea of a conglomerate, and frankly, it outlived its usefulness, and now it's gone away.
Our time is basically up here, but I got to ask you, were Baker and Walsh sold a bill of goods?
I don't know if they were sold a bill of goods, but I think they felt that it would help to jumpstart office development in that part of Boston to have GE there as sort of an anchor tenant. And I don't know if they really analyzed the situation well enough to know that that company was not in great shape.
Yeah. Well, listen, always great to have you here. Come
Thank
back
you.
again soon.
Thank you.
I think we'll continue to have plenty to talk about.
Yes, I agree. There's a lot to talk about.